Good morning, all. A warm welcome to all the
Morning,
participants, the
sir.
resource persons. Welcome to Connect at AUBIT MBA webinar series. This webinar series have been planned for the month of January. Totally 4 webinar series have been planned, and this is the 4th webinar what you are going to attend. For today's session, the topic is safety provisions and welfare measures in Factories Act. And I am proud to introduce the resource person, Dr.S. Gangadharan, Associate Professor, Management Studies, Savitha Engineering College, Chennai. This will be more useful for the first years who are all studying legal aspects of business. So this will help them a lot, and who have an idea of taking HR as their profession, this will be a right session or a webinar for you in learning more about the safety and welfare measures in Factories Act. So with this few note, I'm just handing over the session to Dr. S. Gangadharan. Before that, after this session ends, you will have a feedback form sent to your WhatsApp group, through which you are going to submit your feedback related to the webinars what you have attended in the month of January. So as I said, this is the last webinar session for this month. Most probably the other webinar series will be continued in your in the month of March, because in February we have our university exams. So this is our plan actually, and the persons who have submitted the feedback form will be consolidated and will be eligible for getting the e-certificate for all the webinar sessions what you have attended for in the month of January. So this is our plan. Hope the participants will understand the importance of attending the sessions, because these webinar series have been planned with the different topics with the different resource persons, which will be very useful for you in your studies apart from your regular MBA subjects. So by this end note, I am just introducing the resource person for today's session, the hero, Dr. S. Gangadharan. He is my friend from 1996, hope so. He is my MBA classmate who have a great passion towards teaching, and who started his career as a marketing executive in a media, advertising media, and then he diversified himself into academic. He started his academic career in Hindustan Arts and Science College. Then he just moved to National Institute of Management Sciences, Chennai. And then he have served as a director in Adivarasakti Engineering College, where we have graduated ourselves our BA in 96-98. He served nearly for 10 years as a director in Adivarasakti Engineering College for Management Studies. And then he have moved to Savitha Engineering College, Chennai, as associate professor. He has a wide knowledge in teaching as well as in industrial experiences. He have published 3 books, which is useful for management graduates, and he have published nearly 30 national and internationalized journals. He have participated many international and national conferences. He have visited foreign countries for conferences, international conferences, and with this wide knowledge, I'm just calling upon Dr. S. Gangadharan, who is the what we say it as from my side, he is the role model for me in elevating me in academic field. While I was in IT field, he just elevated me in academic, and he just helped me in pursuing my PhD. So I'm proud enough to introduce Dr. S. Gangadharan. Sir, it's your...
Yes, Thirumal.
Just a minute.
I will tell. Thank you, Thirumal, for giving a brief introduction about me.
So it's not a brief introduction, it's...
Okay, so no problem.
Just a minute.
So
Just a minute. I will just ping you.
Okay, okay.
I'll just ping you. You just open your video mode.
Yes, yes, I already opened.
Since it's in live, I'm getting some connectivity issue. Just a minute. I'll just ping you.
Okay, okay.
Yes. Yes, Dr. Gangadharan.
Yes, okay.
You can show your face. Yes.
Yes, I am already in video mode only.
Okay. Yes, you carry on. The session is yours.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Tirumal. Good morning, one and all gathered here. I think most of the group are from students' background here. So, as Thirumal told, actually we people were having a very good relationship for the past 24 years. Okay, so sorry, 25 years. Okay, so with that, at the end of the session, still I will talk a lot about our relationship, which continued for these 25 years. So, as he has told that we are supposed to complete within some stipulated time. Okay, so I will start directly with the topic. Okay, so today topic, he has asked me what are all the topics. I told, okay, Factories Act, it will be useful for the students where you can talk a lot in Factories Act because nowadays
Excuse me, Dr. Gangadharan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can just make your video a little bit longer because your yes, you can yes, it's enough. It will be right.
Our workers are working for doing any manufacturing process with the help of power. So if any electricity is being used means, and if 10 or more people are working for any manufacturing process, so you can, uh, it will be considered as a factory. And if there is no power, no, without the aid of power, 20 or more members are being working for any manufacturing process means that for manufacturing process, any 20 or more people are working we the word washing here. So oiling, packaging, everything will be coming under manufacturing process only. Even demolishing also. Nowadays, demolishing is a very big industry now. So not only construction industry I'm talking. So even now our government of India has announced if any vehicles, if you are using for more than 10 years, diesel vehicles and petrol vehicles more than 15 years means so it should be taken back. So that also will be coming under demolishing or crushing only. So like that and all, it is any process is being carried out. That and all, it will be coming under a manufacturing process only. So you cannot tell even if your cleaning work is going on. That also it is a very big industry where if you are seeing in most of the organization, housekeeping people, no, even they are coming under manufacturing sector only. Housekeeping people, most of them are, if you see in the organization, they are outsourced. So they'll be coming under in that category only because they clean the premises 24 by 7. Every 2 hours, they'll be keeping on cleaning. And who is a worker? A person who is employed in any manufacturing process or cleaning or any work incidental to manufacturing process. Okay, even if you are coming under you are employed through contractor, that also will be considered he also will be considered as a worker only. So every slide, no, at the end of the sentence, I have quoted the sections. If you are able to recollect and remind the sections, it is well and good. If you are not able to recollect these sections, means no problem. So this is according to Factories Act. So the worker, no, section 2 of I will be talking about the worker. Who are all the persons will be considered as worker, and occupier, the person who is having the full control in the organization. Okay, is the full, he will be having the full control affairs related to the organization, and if any problems is happening inside the organization, he will be the person responsible for that particular incident. Okay, so he will be given notice actually 15 days before he begins to occupy the premises. So it will be prescribed in the section 7 of Factories Act. What is the duties and what are all the things you are supposed to do and you're not supposed to do. Everything will be there. So please don't think that a owner will be the occupier also. No. In a government company, government only authorizes a person to occupy the post as an occupier. Okay, but in private company, a separate post will be created apart from the director or the owner. So he will be responsible for all the uh, happenings inside the organization. And what are all the duties? So related to health, safety, and welfare of the workers while they are working in the factory. So he is the person responsible. He will be ensuring for all these three factors which I told you, health related, safety related, and welfare related for the workers during the uh, working in the working place. Okay, during working hours, whichever it is. So if anything is happening related to health sector or welfare or safety, so occupier is the sole person responsible for the worker. So See, actually, these are all the things which were there previously, and now, so restrictions on employment of women. No, so here I have told that in this slide, should not be employed beyond the 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. That is before 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. After 7 p.m. Any women employee should not work. But nowadays, from the year 2003 or even 2002, also you can take. Government has done some amendments in Factories Act. So amendment means some changes, and they have given some exemptions where women employees can go for night shifts, but you should get prior permission. You should get the permission from the state government where the organization is put up, and if they are giving permission, you can employ the women workers. So they'll be telling some conditions in that particular when they are giving some acceptance. No, so you should do some. They'll be telling some facilities should be provided if women employees are working during night shifts, and if any shift changing, no, so it will be done only for once in a week. Okay, so and these are all the things you should compulsory know. So it only I opted either don't think it is only legal. Sir told he has added one more point. Most of the students nowadays they are opting only HR. So I have seen in most of the colleges people prefer nowadays HR. The persons who are really interested to work in HR, these are all basic points you should know. And one more thing is record. So to maintain the record of the workers. So for how much um, years he is working, how many days he has worked, how many hours he has worked, everything will be there. And if he has worked overtime, that also it will be maintained. So because it will be there in the norms that 8 hours plus 1 hour OT. So up to 9 hours, you can appoint a worker in the workplace in a day. So totally put together in a week, it should be only 48 hours, 6 days a week. So this is talking about, this slide is talking about earned leave to the worker. So at the rate of 1 day for every 20 days of work performed in previous calendar year. So provided he had worked for if you worked for 240 days in the previous year, so you are eligible for earned leave in the organization for this particular year. So these are all the things you should know in the workplace. So nowadays people go and join somewhere in the organization and don't know the norms. So many students are my not actually not only my students. So even Dr. Tirumalaran also knows about many of our students are working as an HR. They used to share many things about the present scenario in the uh, industrial related to industrial law and all. So what is that they should do at present situation? So child worker is entitled uh, to 1 day per every 15 days. Please, child worker means please understand the person who are the above the age group of 14 to 15 years. Okay, the person who are in the age group of 14 to 15 years. So they will be coming under child worker. Please don't think that below the age group of 14 they will be appointed. No, the persons who are coming under between, not coming under, those who are falling in the age group of 14 to 15, they will be uh, called as a child worker. And while calculating for these persons, no, 240 days, and earned leave, maternity leave up to 12 weeks, and layoff days also will be considered. Okay, these are all the things will be there in the, and these are all the things, basic things. Just before talking about safety and welfare, I'm just giving a background. What is that actually in Factories Act? They'll be asking, and it can be accumulated up to 30 days in case of adult and 40 days in case of child. So it can be admissible in exclusive of holidays occurring during or either of the leave period. So these are all the things, basic things you should know. and this leave cannot be taken for more than 3 times in a year. So that also is there, but most of the government sectors, no. So earned leave and all, they will be coming under, they will encash it. So that and all it is possible, but in private sector, 80% of private sector earned leave you should avail it. Nobody will be giving, we cannot encash it. So between everybody knows that below the age group of 14, nobody will be appointed in the organization, in the factory. And 14 to 15 years of age can be employed, but only 4.5 hours per day or during the night, whichever it is. And if you are appointing this category of person, he should be certified by a surgeon, is really fit. And the person who are in the age group of 15 to 18, they will be considered as adolescent, and he can be employed as an adult. For this also, he should get a fitness certificate for a full day's work from certifying surgeon that he is really fit to work for one full day. அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு he can get a he should get a certificate from a surgeon. Then only he will be allowed for full day. And this is actually uh, everything should be both in English and local language. What are all the information? It should be displayed in the organization, and it should be authorized by factories inspector, and a certified surgeon should also be displayed in the notice board. So I already told in the beginning itself, at the end of every slide, there will be sections. If you are interested, you can make a note and you can also cross check also, no problem. Okay. So this thing, it should be there in wherever you go in factories. What is happening in the organization, it should be both in English and a local language, and the name and address of the factory's inspector and the certifying surgeon also should be there displayed in the notice board. Okay. And if any accidents is happening, it should be uh, disabled within 48 hours, and dangerous occurrences, if any, for the worker, and any occupational disease should be compulsorily informed to factory's inspector. And any notice of dangerous or occurrences means it should be specified clearly for what reason it has happened. So these are all the things you should maintain in the working conditions. And this one is health. Everybody knows about this. So talking about cleanliness. So as you will be studying quality management, there you will be talking about 5 years. Same thing here also, cleanliness. So that it will be talking about section 11, that the working conditions should be clean and also be safe for the workers. So nowadays you can see wherever you go, people are wearing masks and going. Even now they are not following it. So, but in workplace, you see the workplace, it should be very much clean and safe. I have visited both uh, government organization and private organization. There is a vast difference between the workplace. No, there is a vast difference how they maintain the workplace in the government organization and in the private organization. So you can see when you're going for ID, you can easily see what is it they are really they are doing in this sector. Okay, so and once, actually weekly once at least, minimum only I'm talking. So you should clean the floor, and you should wash it every 14 weeks, and you should also paint or varnish every 5 years, depending upon the workplace. And this should be sweeping should be done daily. So these are all the minimum norms actually. And so coloring in the workplace should be maintained to have a pleasant atmosphere. No? So, as per Factories Act, register of coloring should be done properly. And this is the main problem for all the organization. Disposal of wastes and effluents. There should be proper arrangements or disposal of waste and effluents, because wastages from this any organization. So to dispose the waste or effluents, it is a very big problem nowadays because wherever you go, they talk about uh, pollution related problems. So I have seen many organizations when I visit, no, to give any lectures, no, a few organizations I could not even enter the premises because of their production itself is like that. Some chemical factories and all. So even not only for giving presentation, but also some for IVV event. 5 or 6 students cannot enter the organization because of some problem, health related issues. Okay. So effluence, the removing of this wastage and effluence is a very big task in the organization. In future, this will be a major problem. Okay. So if you are interested in this area, no, in future, how to dispose the wastage, you can study, and you can also have a very big organization in this sector also. And there are some there is you should follow every time government rules, and these are all the thing minimum norms. There should be very good ventilation in the workplace, and temperature should be maintained properly. So that only in the workplace and all exhaust fans nowadays it is being fixed in the rooftop itself. You can see in the workplace and all in the factories in the rooftop itself some exhaust fan models are being set up. You can see that a lot. So in the top of the roof, that and all you can see, and the ventilation should be there. So even now you can see now I'm sitting in one of my classroom. So there is very good ventilation. I have closed 2 or 3 because some noise is coming. So it only I'm talking about very good ventilation should be there, and mostly you should try to avoid excess heat. So in organization, this is a major problem. Excess heat will be there. So how to avoid that? Remove that excess heat is so you should have lots of exhaust fans and dust and fumes. So these are all preventive measures only. So what we are talking, no? The effective measures should be taken to minimize dust. So this is the thing you should know. So some places you cannot even enter inside because of huge dust. Say for example, construction industry. So where every time dust will be there. So all production areas, dust will be there, minute dusts. So in safety measures, we'll be talking again this point. And so artificial humidification. So mostly uh, in textile industry, it will be there. So and that too, women employees should not be allowed in that particular areas and all. So these things and all you should maintain. So this is actually up to this is up to overcrowding. It is health related. Okay, so, and this talking about workplace, even up to this 14.2 cubic space per worker. So it should be there properly. But most of the organization they never follow, except automobile industry, which is set up in nearby Chennai. They are following these norms and all, or else they could not work. If the space is minimized, no, you cannot work properly. So you should know how much work space should be there for each and every work process. So without that, you cannot uh, talk about the productivity concept and all. If it is being overcrowded in workplace, only production can be done, and nobody cannot talk about productivity here. So if you want very good productivity, no, these things and all overcrowding and all should not be done in the workplace. This one is talking about when you're talking about ventilating, lighting facility also should be there. Now, as far as possible, if you are in natural environment, you should not
habit to begin with the end in the mind.
Dr. Gangadharan, we couldn't hear your voice. Participants, be with us. I think he gets some network problem. Let him join and then he can continue it.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, join. Dr. Gangadharan, could you hear us? Participants, be with us. I think he is facing some network issues. Let him resolve and come. சொல்லுப்பா, நீ பேசுறது எதுவுமே கேட்கலப்பா. நீ பேசுறது எதுவுமே கேட்கல. ஏன் திடீர்னு அந்த ப்ராப்ளம் வந்துச்சு? ஏன் திடீர்னு அந்த ப்ராப்ளமு? ஆ சரி, இப்போ நீ உள்ளே வந்திருக்க. இப்போ ப்ரெசென்ட் பண்ணு. இல்லைண்ணா, நீ உன் ஃபேஸ் காமி, அதுக்கப்புறம் பார்த்துக்கலாம். வீடியோ மோட்லேயே வரலையே. அந்த அந்த ஃப்ளவர் தான் தெரியுது. ம், இப்போ ஸ்க்ரீன் ஷேர் பண்ணுறேன். இது இது அன்மியூட் பண்ணு, அன்மியூட் பண்ணு, அன்மியூட் பண்ணு. பேசு. எதுவுமே கேட்கலப்பா. எதுவுமே கேட்கலப்பா. இல்லை, எதுவுமே கேட்கல. இல்லை, எனக்கு இங்கே எதுவுமே வரல. ஒரு நிமிஷம். ம், ஏன்? இல்லை, அதான் கங்காதரன் லெஃப்ட் தி மீட்டிங்னு வருது. மறுபடியும் ஜாயின் பண்ணு. ம், இப்போ உன் ஃபேஸே வரல. வெறும் அந்த நீ ஒரு சிம்பிள் வச்சுருக்க பாரு, அது மட்டும் தான் வருது. Participants, is getting some network issues. Is able to join, but he couldn't make the presentation. Let us wait whether his problem have been resolved or not, and then we'll continue. You just don't leave the meet. You be line. Within a minute, he can join. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right.
But Dr. Tirumar, you're able to...
Yes, I can view. I can view you. Yes.
Okay, okay.
Sound
okay,
over
okay. Okay, but sorry for
Ah.
students. Okay,
You
I'll
just
continue.
proceed. You just proceed.
Okay.
உங்க ஃபேஸ் நல்லா ஃபேஸ் மட்டும் தான் தனியா தெரியுது. நீங்க இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் பின்னாடி போயிடலாம். கொஞ்சம் ஸ்கிரீனை கொஞ்சம் இறக்கலாம். லேப் ஸ்கிரீனை கொஞ்சம் இறக்கலாம். ரைட். இன்னும் கொஞ்சம்.
ஓகே.
இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் நல்லா இறக்கலாம். இப்ப தலை மட்டும் தான் தெரியுது. அந்த நம்ம ரைட். இது ஓகே. ரைட். Proceed.
Okay. So this is the slide which I was talking. Okay, it should be cleaned. The restrooms and all should be cleaned every 2 hours once. So these are all the things will be happening in 80% to 90% of the private organizations. And the government organization, unless and until there is any inspection only, they will be doing these norms and all. Okay, and spittoons, so it should be kept every 200 meters one. It should be there. Okay, spittoons is the place where the worker, the facility will be provided for spitting purpose. So echathuparathukagave vechirupanga. So these particular places and all. So at least a bucket should be there. Minimum norms. A bucket type model should be there for spitting. So some because in workplace and all, sometimes because of inhaling issues, they'll be having some every time they'll be having the habit of spitting. So for the purpose of the worker, it will be there kept every 200 meters once. It should be kept. And next only, what is the topic we have quoted in the today's lecture, safety of workers. So it will be dealing about talking about the fencing of machineries. Then they'll be talking about who are all allowed inside the working place. That and all it will be there. So this particular thing in the machineries, some fence it should be there. Any dangerous parts means it should be fenced properly. So people cannot be easily entering into that particular place. I have seen many accidents which has not been properly fenced. So because something when we went for an IV, in one particular organization, during our visit, even school children were visiting the organization. So one kid was running away. He might be about 7th or 8th student. He was running inside the workplace, as it was not properly fenced and as it was visible in the camera. So he was caught and he was warned seriously. So young people sometimes they don't know about the seriousness of the machineries and all. So and you should know about the machines which are in running, which are in motions, and it should be properly examined because heavy machineries sometimes create lots of if you're not properly maintaining it properly, it will be creating a very big damage for the organization. So it should be properly examined every time. So that is a very big safety for the worker also. Compulsorily, where the worker will be talking about talking about the fencing of, apart from fencing of machineries, when it is in motion, no, it should be properly handled. That is the main thing everybody should know. And no women or child should be allowed in the where the main working is happening when it is in motion, because heavy machineries or any other thing, so women or children should not be allowed in that particular place. And employment of young persons on dangerous missions. So young person means the person who are in the age group of 14 to 15 and 15 to 18 also. The person who is not having knowledge about the organization. Somebody else might be asking that even the person who is completing diploma or ITA, they'll be in the age group of 17 only. But they'll be giving training in that age group, and they'll not be allowed to work. With the help of the supervisor only, they'll be allowed to work in the particular missions on all young persons, unless if he is being trained. No? So even then, under the head of the supervisor only, he'll be allowed to work. And so I told just now, young person who are in the age group of 14 to 18. And the striking is, so striking means immediately to switch off the power, or automatically some breaker type of switches are there now. If any issues, no, automatically it will fall down. That and all, even in our houses itself, it is there nowadays. If any power problem, no, in our houses, automatically our tripper will come down. The type of striking gears and all in organization, it should be compulsorily fitted. And if it is automatically, the tripper is down means major problem can be solved. So only the striking gears and all, it is compulsory. And self-acting machines, that no person should walk in a space where self-action machines are in motion, where automatic machines are moving. No? And in that places, there should not be any persons walking in that where the motion of the machine is going on. So these are all the things you should know in safety measures, where people will be talking about. Uh, so this is one more thing where there should be casing of new machines, because it is very dangerous. Where it's dangerous parts, where you can talk about when any new machines are being set up, no? And the two casing of new machines installing or its dangerous parts, it should be properly properly handled by only by the senior worker in the organization, because casing and all is a very big issue. And the cotton openers, sorry, one spelling mistake there, is a cotton openers. So compulsorily, women and children are not allowed to work on cotton openers, because they face lots of health related issues, inhaling issues. So the person who are in the uh, workplace should not have even inhaling problem. Say for example, if he's having asthma, even that person will not be allowed to work in this workplace. Okay, so these are all very dangerous place, cotton openers, because minute dust will directly affect the lungs. So it only women and children in the age group of 14 to 17, they will not be allowed to work. So these are all the things you should know compulsorily inside the cotton openers. And the hoists and lifts. So why these hoists and lifts? Because a person should not carry, a worker should not carry overweight. So to avoid that, only these hoists and lifts and all will be fixed in the workplace. So to it should be mainly of the safety of the worker, and the maximum load it can carry must be also mentioned. Over weightage of the machine also will not be considered. Okay, and they're talking about locked by interlocking or safe method. It should not open in between. Like that and all, it is there even in the hoists and lifts and all. Okay, so it is very much safety aspects for both worker and also for the missionaries who are handled by that particular worker. And it should be examined nowadays. It is being examined every 3 months once it is being examined. Previously and all, they will be talking about every 12 months, but maintenance will be done every 3 months. Okay, 3 months once it will be done maintenance and all, and rotating or revolving missions. So talking about safe speed must be mentioned for each mission, and the maximum speed about revolving mission must be also mentioned. So why? Because even in the sometimes if any worker is new to that workplace, so you should know about the working condition of the mission. Talking about manufacturing process, I told you. So you can talk about the speed of the minimum speed of the mission and maximum speed, revolving speed of the mission. Everything you can talk, and also if it is being mentioned, no, so he can use any safety uh, equipments while handling the missions for that purpose only. And pressure gauges normally. So for each and every mission, they will be fitting separate gauges. The gauges means it will be showing how much heat it is there in that particular mission. So if it is going beyond that, no, so you can the gauge will be showing that minimum and maximum. So you can switch off, and it save working pressure on the particular plants or the machineries. So if you are talking about that particular thing, no, safety gauges, that is pressure gauges, where you can talk about uh, maximum safety of the workers. If it is not working, no, it will be a very big issue in the workplace. And the stairs should be there compulsorily and should be of sound construction. And nowadays, even in metal, it is there. So that also it is very much strong only. So stairs should be there compulsorily in the workplace if it is being fixed more than 10 feet. Okay, stairs should be there, and the pits so should be covered and should be covered, and also it should be safe. So if any pits means pits or stumps, etc., means it should be covered and it should be properly fenced also. So these are all the things you should do for safety of the worker. And this was I was talking about excessive weight. So excessive weight is that a person should not uh, be employed to hold more weight than the person can hold. So these are all the conditions actually. How much weight a worker can carry. Up to that only he should be given. Beyond that, no, you should not ask him to carry that and all. So if he is doing that and all, it will be a problem again for the organization. So you should have proper Googles.
Dr. Gangadharan, we couldn't hear your voice. Dr. Gangadharan, are you there? Guys, stay with us. He's getting the same network issue. Let him resolve and come. Stay with us. என்னப்பா இல்லைப்பா மறுபடியும் வெளியே வந்துட்டு உள்ளவாங்க. ஏன் அந்த மாதிரி வருது? அதுவும் 2 தடவை கட் ஆகுது. ம் நீ அந்த இது ஃபென்சிங்க்கு அப்புறம் பேசினல்ல, அப்பயே கட் ஆயிடுச்சு. ம் வீடியோ மோடுப்பா. ஒரே நிமிஷம். அப்படியா? இல்லை வெயிட் பண்ண வீடியோ மோடுக்கு முதல்ல வரட்டும். ஆ ரைட். ஸ்க்ரீன் இல்லை இன்னும் வரல. இதை வெயிட் பண்ண ஒரு நிமிஷம். கொஞ்சம் லேட் ஆகும். பாரு அது என்னன்னு பாரு. என்னப்பா உள்ள வந்துட்ட. ஓகே, வீடியோ வரல. முதல்ல நீ வீடியோ மோடுக்கு வா. வீடியோ மோடில் தான் இருக்கேன். எனக்கு அந்த இது தான் வருது, ஸ்க்ரீன் தான் வருது, வேறு எதுவும் வரல. ஒரு நிமிஷம். உனக்கு ஃபுல் இது இருக்கா? ஒரே நிமிஷம். இதை பார்க்குறேன். நான் சொல்கிறேன். ஏன்னா ஒன்று இன்னும் ஃபேஸே ஷேர் ஆகலை, அதுக்கு தான் பார்க்குறேன். நீ பேசு. Dr. Gangadharan, you can proceed. Dr. Gangadharan, you can you can proceed. Dr. Gangadharan, we couldn't hear your voice. Please unmute. Could you hear me? Guys, be with us. He's just joining, but he couldn't make his tone audible as well as the presentation. I think he's facing some network problem. Be with us. Let him resolve and come. நீ அது ஒன்று ஆடியோவும் வரல, வீடியோவும் வரல. சரி, கரெக்ட் பண்ணு.
Tirumal? Dr. Tirumal?
Yes.
Okay.
Now
So again, sorry for interruption.
Okay. you want to, I think you have some problem in the presentations mode. Okay.
No. Now it's okay. I have connected through some other network.
Okay.
So with the help of Dr. Satyamurthy.
Okay.
Okay, so now it is okay.
Right. You can proceed.
Okay, pa. Okay, pa. Sorry. Okay, so
You can present.
he was talking about precaution in case of fire. Okay, there should be even I was talking in this particular. Many of them could not view or hear my voice. So again, I'll proceed from this slide where there should be proper. I was asking about precaution in case of fire. So where you can, if you're going to theaters, no. So in the near to that screen, you can see lots of buckets. So I asked a question. I don't know how many of them are really listening. What will be there in the buckets? How many of them have noticed near that screen there will be buckets when you are watching films in theaters? And what will be there in the buckets? Yes.
Participants
Any?
can unmute and come.
No. You can also tell at the end of the class also because
Okay.
it's already okay. No problem. Please remind me it's already 11. Okay.
Okay.
So he got some time.
Right.
So if you are telling it immediately, okay, no problem. If you're not able to tell at the end of the class, you can tell.
Okay.
And so proper exit should be there for if any cases of fire, and fire extinguishers should be compulsorily kept in the organization. Even in the colleges, it is made compulsory now. For each and every floor, there should be for each and every floor there should be. You're able to hear?
Yes. Yes. You can.
Okay. For each and every floor, there are some conditions that you should have at least minimum 3 fire extinguishers in college. When you think about workplace, minimum 20 to 25 fire extinguishers. If it is more than 2,000 or 5,000 square feet means you should have at least minimum 25 fire extinguishers. And apart from this, there are also some other requirements which you are supposed to keep ready if in case of fire. And the role of the inspector, he will be talking about what you should do in the building area and the missionary areas. And he will be visiting on all the building area and missionary areas 6 months once, whether it is being properly done. And safety officer should be appointed if the workers are crossing more than 1,000. And he will be talking about what are all the things apart from the basic thing what they have told no in factories that apart from that basic things what are all the extra information we can give like that. For that reason only safety officer must be appointed. And coming to this one, welfare provisions. So welfare is a basic thing where workers really are very much interested. Okay, even though apart from salary, these welfare measures will be giving a lots of motivation, and also that too for workers. No, this will be giving a huge benefit for them. Okay, so what are all the things we'll be seeing one by one? The main thing is washing facilities. So for both male and female workers, it should be talking about clothes here. I'm talking, and for that washing facility, even you should have separate storing and drying of clothes also should be there. This is in the section 43, where you can talk about if any clothes not worn during the manufacturing process. No? So for that thing also you can do like this process and all for storing, drying of clothes. I'm talking and talking about next thing is a worker also can dry their clothes if there is any issues related to the workplace. And these are all the basic things, facilities for sitting during workplaces. Why? Because whenever he is feeling sometime relaxed, he can just sit and relax in the workplace itself. Compulsory, these are all the things, some basic norms. Even I don't know how many of them I've seen, even for police, for traffic police. If now previously it was not there, but nowadays it is being fixed to sit and to monitor the place where he is working. So you can see one small stool type category will be fixed with that. You cannot carry that stool and all because it is automatically fixed with the to that particular to that particular what is that actually they'll be telling on divider like model they'll be having in that itself for sitting they'll be it will be attached with that. Previously it was not there, and now you can see in that places and all. And compulsorily first aid kits, there should be at least one first aid kit for each and every 150 workers. Even while traveling, you can see in the buses back side of the driver there will be one box, first aid box. So it is norms. Any accident is being taken place means, so for that reason only first aid box and all it is being fixed, and a person should hold a certificate and for the first aid treatment. These are all the norms actually, and separate ambulance room should be there if the workers are more than 500. So it is compulsory, and canteen should be there if more than 250 workers are working according to norms of the government. And the rules regarding foodstuff, construction, furniture, equipment of the canteen, and all it will be mentioned in the section 46. So what are all the foodstuffs should be there, and how it should be constructed, and what should be the furniture type model, equipment of the canteen, everything it will be mentioned clearly. And the restrooms, lunchroom, shelters. When 150 workers are working, there should be proper restrooms, lunchrooms, etc. And it should be provided with drinking water facilities also in the workplace. Compulsory nowadays, if more than 30 women workers are there means, they should try to have a crutch, and there should be a trained in charge for the crutches where women can bring their kids, those who are below the age group of 3 to every 2 hours or 3 hours once they can visit their kid in the workplace itself. Crutch is compulsory, and separate welfare officer will be there, must be appointed if the workers limit is going beyond 500, and he will be taking care of the welfare of the works, what in which are all the areas still we can give benefit to the workers. And talking about working hours, I told previously itself 48 hours per week, that is 8 hours per day for adults means. And for one more thing I want to share here is why this particular Factories Act and all was being introduced, because there was some problem actually. For that reason only this slide, there were major amendments, okay, were caused during 1987. What is the reason for doing some amendments? Because of in 1984 there was a huge tragedy in Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh. So in early hours of 3rd December 1984, where many people have died because of inhaling of that particular gas, and they could not punish because the law was not so good. So they have given lots of amendments in that section, and it was, so we have put the word here, overall, and many provisions were introduced. And at that time only, penalty and all were given. Penal provisions were revamped. Previously, it was not there actually. That was actually chemical plant. because now before 6 months or 7 months before, even in Visakhapatnam, near to the chemical plant, one particular area was affected, and nearly thousands of people were admitted in the hospital for inhaling that gas. Some leakage, if even if small leakage is there, it will be entirely spoiling the environment. Like that only it has happened in the year 1984. Prior to that and all, this particular act and all, if any problem means nobody cannot be uh, penalized properly. So for that only they have introduced this particular thing, hazardous process actually. So hazardous means any process or activity in relation to an industry categorized where unless special care is taken. So, but this particular incident in Visakhapatnam, all the steps were taken by the management of that particular chemical plant itself. And in that category, because of these amendments, 29 industries have been listed while it was when it was introduced in the year 1987 itself. And 29 industries, out of these 29 industries, 18 industries have closed, and only 11 industries they have done some lots of changes, and uh, still they are existing. Even if you're taking as there is a case, so we are not supposed to talk. Even in I'll tell the incident. You can take the what incident, what case I'm talking about. You can easily tell. Even before yeah, 9 months or 10 months, sorry, 1 year before, there was a big problem in Toothukudi because of one particular organization. So that also you can take. What is that they are talking about? Whether they are really got affected or not affected. That is different. Why people have opposed is you know that. Okay, these are all the things actually talking about hazardous process and all. So these are all the lists where listed in that year 1987. So these are all the hazardous process industries. Almost 29 industries are being categorized. So in that, no, you can simply go through it, which your even paints company are coming into it. Now you're talking about paint dark color. I want dark color and mixing of different colors. No, everything is full of chemical only. So you can talk about even cement industry is a very big polluting industry. So fertilizer, I think everybody knows about that. And these are all few industries which are being quoted for hazardous process. And now four more industries are categorized in this hazardous process itself, in hazardous process classification. Even few construction type industry also are being classified here. And these are all some changes. KF or accordingly KF or 19. Okay, Karnataka factory regulations. It was in the year 1969. They have done some changes. Same thing, it was practiced all over India, and it has been made by the both central government and also the state government. So these are all some of the things which you should know. Why after that incident only Factories Act and all were introduced effectively in the syllabus. Previously, it was just only one small point, but later to that incident, it was taken into a very big subject, and people talk about even now in HR. That aspect and all, now we are talking. So, where the constituted into fundamental rights. Main thing, it was only directive principles previously, but now it has become a fundamental rights. If any problems, no, even people can file a case against that particular company. Why? Because it is coming under fundamental rights, what you're doing, and if you're polluting the environment or if it is affecting the society, even you or I can file a case against that particular organization. So these are all the things you should know. So one more thing, One more thing in that slide I was not talking about is intervals. So out of 8 hours, half an hour should be there for rest timing. Okay, it should not be there for continuous 8 hours. After 5 hours, compulsorily, half an hour should be there a break. And the spread over of 10.5 hours to 12 hours you can have. And you should not talk about every time. Double employment and all should not be there. Okay, you should not go for that. It should be restricted. And you should know about who is going to give power to make exempting orders and all. So these are all the things you should know. And register of adult workers. So adult worker means the persons who are in the age group of 15 to 18. So register of adult workers you should maintain properly. And anything OT apart from 8 hours, it will be considered as OT, and for that separate wages will be there. And these are all the eligibilities to get the TL. And if anything LTA also is there, means that particular person will be eligible for even LTA. So I think I have covered most of the things. Provisions. And one point here we are talking is lady welfare officer should be there if more than 50 employees, women employees are being working there. So separate lady welfare officer should be there. And occupational health center. These are all new section 2 of CB, occupational health center. Okay, I think I've covered most of the topics in both three points I've discussed in Factories Act, health, safety, and welfare. All these 3 points, it will be, you can go also in depth also. And if you want to have knowledge, you can take also about the welfare aspect alone, and you can talk a lot. Okay. Thank you, students, for listening patiently for the past 1 hour. In between, I was having 2 times a break. Sorry for that interruption. And any questions? Any questions?
Thank you, Dr.S.Gangadharan, for your valuable session. And the session is open to the participants for clearing their queries. You can unmute and you can just post.
I asked also one question in between. If you are able to answer that also, you can answer, no problem.
Gangadharan, you just minimize your screen because your just head alone is visible to us.
Okay, now it's okay.
Little bit. You just lower your screen, your laptop screen. You just lower your.
Okay.
This will do. This is right. Okay, guys.
Any questions?
Make your session lively so that by clearing your queries, it will be very useful for you in your future classes. You can unmute and ask.
I asked a question also.
Yes,
if
why?
you're able to.
Anyone?
So I'll repeat the question if you want. So if you are going to theatres, in front of the screen, there will be lots of buckets hanging. For what reason the buckets are kept? Inside the bucket, what it will be there? Any answers, please?
Sand.
Why, pa? Devakant.
Due to safetyness.
Enapa? Come again.
Due to safety, sir.
What safety?
Fire safety.
Okay, very good. Okay. Like that in organization also, there will be lots of places where no water will be there. So people sometimes will be telling water, as we are using only power or electricity. So water will not be used there. Only sand or some other type of material will be kept for safety purpose. Okay. Any questions? Any questions?
If there is no questions, we can confirm that the session is very understandable. Am I right, participants?
So
You don't have any
I
doubts.
thank
Right. But before thanking to the chief guest, we will go for some feedback about this session. Guys, you can unmute and come. Feedback about this session. First years, second years. Are you there?
Clearly understandable, sir, and it's nice.
Okay. And from Kingstar, she just said it's a wonderful session. Any other persons who want to share their ideas related to this session? You just unmute and take participation. Nothing else? Asipriya? Sollamma?
Yes, sir.
Solluma. Your feedback about this session.
சார் ரொம்ப யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருந்துச்சு சார்.
Right. You are being an engineer. You join as an employee, right? In an organization. What are the things you have to understand from employee point of view, and what should be provided from employer point of view also has to be taken into consideration, right?
Yes.
First year students, which will be very useful to you. Anyone? First year guys?
Yes, sir. It is very easily understandable.
Right, ma. Chitra Nambi. Okay. Right. By this, we'll just go for the vote of thanks. Thanks for Dr.S. Gangadharan for sharing his valuable experiences and knowledge related to the topic safety and welfare measures in factory sector. I'm really happy to have you as a resource person. And to start a formal vote of thanks, first of all, a very big thanks to the authorities, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Honorable Registrar, respected Dean, respected Head of the Department, Management Studies, University College of Engineering, Anna University BIT Campus Tiruchirappalli, the faculty members of Department of Management Studies, the resource person for today's session, Dr.S. Gangadharan, Associate Professor, Management Studies, Savitha Engineering College, Chennai, the participants, especially a special thanks to Dr. Victor, Head of the Department, University College of Engineering, Tirunelveli, Anna University Tirunelveli Campus, for extending his kind support in executing our webinar series. Thanks to all the persons who have directly and indirectly supported us in continuing our webinar series for the past 1 month. We have conducted 4 webinar series in this month, and you will expect another webinar series with the same brand, Connect at AUBIT MBA, in the month of March. Every week of March, you will have a different topic, a different resource person sharing their own experiences in disseminating their knowledges and experiences related to the management areas. Where apart from your regular MBA subjects, you can make your knowledge set in a proper way, where you are going to face the industrial setup, either if you are an employee or an employer. These are all the stuffs which is very needed for a management graduate. You have to differentiate yourselves among other graduates that based upon your learning. So there is no full stop for learning. Likewise, there will never be any restriction in learning for you. With that mentality, you please try to learn from your environment, which your regular ABA subjects will never give you. So with this EndNote, you will receive a feedback form from our side to the WhatsApp group. You please fill it up and submit it. This feedback form will be consolidated, and based upon this feedback form, you will be eligible for getting the e-certificate for all the webinar sessions. So that's from our side. Thank you one and all. Thank you, Dr.S. Gangadharan. If you want to share any of your experiences, you just post it. Please.
Okay. Thank you, students. I thank Dr. Tirumal and his HOD for providing me a great opportunity to present a live webinar for all of you. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, Pa.
Thank you. Thank you, my dear friends. Enjoy your weekends, because from next week onwards you are having your university exams. Prepare well. It's an online mode. Moreover, the exam goes for 1 hour with multiple choice questions. You just learn a lot and try to secure good marks. All the best. Thanks for your patience and thanks for your energetic participation in all the webinar sessions. And we will meet again in the month of March with a new brand series. Thank you one and all. Thank you all who have directly and indirectly supported us and you have participated in this webinar series. Thanks a lot. Goodbye. You can leave the meet.
Thank you, sir.